Welcome to Win, Learn or Draw, a West Tigers podcast, because the Tigers never lose. They either win or they learn. And this week we learned 32 points to 28 up at Townsville Tech. Disappointing result. If it hadn't been just judged on the second half, we actually would have won quite comfortably. But Rugby League, quite famously, a game that's scored on the full 80-minute performance, unfortunately, in this case.
It's a double period, Hammy.
Double period.
You can't just be marked off one period. You've got to play for both.
It's a shame. They should just take your best period, I think, and then... the HSC, don't they just average it out?
That's right,
your best one. Anyway,
they should do that.
We'll leave that with Abdo and Volandis and co. But the point is the Tigers learnt on the weekend. Disappointing lesson. It was there to be won. We're going to get to Mort's 30-second summary of the game that was in just a moment. But before we do, just a bit of hygiene off the top. If you like what we're doing, please follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube and all your podcast platforms as well. And if you can, especially on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review,
please, with
a positive little blurb on it. Now, we know there's a lot of people listening and watching this show, which we love. But if you can just do that, it's just going to shoot us up the rankings a little bit more, helps us make the show a bit bigger, and do a few more interesting things like a bit of a merch drop, which we're cooking up as well.
Even on the Insta posts and the YouTube videos and stuff, write a comment. Just say good or hi.
Outstanding as per.
Yeah, it's just all that stuff, all that engagement stuff. Zuckerberg and the guys at Google really take note of that.
And as we've mentioned a few times, just helps us get up the Anthony Albanese.
We have said that a couple of times, actually.
Yeah, I'm warming to it. I think we're going to make it a thing.
It's the first time you've said it. So.
The Albanese.
There you go.
Yeah, it's growing on me. Racing to 2005 for obvious reasons, subscribers, followers, and what have you. 920 on YouTube at the moment. We've got 1680 on Instagram at the moment. So if we get to 2005 on any of these platforms, a little bit of exclusive Win, Learn or Draw merch will be coming out. So make sure you do your best to spread the good word. But in the meantime, to spread the good word of the lesson that was learned at Townsville Tech on Saturday evening. Mort, the ball is yours in your own time.
Okay. Give me a countdown, could you?
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Cambridge Dictionary defines rugby league as a form of rugby with 13 players in each team, which therefore means we would have won that game 28-12 if we played the game according to the definition for the whole 80 minutes. However, the referee mustn't read the dictionary because he sent both Luai and Dewey for 10-minute detentions. And despite Stafford Toa once again activating English mode, Dareem Buller activating rookie Buller mode, and the boys mounting a Harlem Globetrotter-inspired comeback very late in the second half, the Tigers learned a lesson up north and once again faced the cane on account of their ill discipline. Top 16 still on.
40 seconds flat.
I'll take that.
That's okay.
I'll take that.
There's a lot to cover off there.
Yeah.
I think you got it all in. I'm happy with that.
Well, I mean, I was trying to kind of overview the game rather than going to the nitty-gritty because at the end of the day, the result, I mean, is probably fair just because of how much we, excuse the pun, dropped the ball. Because that last 17 minutes, and I said it on the story, we haven't played that good a footy in a long time.
Yeah, it was 05 sort of stuff.
Jeez, we looked good. Wasn't it? Like touch footy.
It was.
Like, it was like line break after line break, heads up footy or eyes up footy.
Yeah, eyes up footy. But the boys can hold their heads up as well because it was great footy.
Good
really
point.
good footy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The first half for me, I was there as well. We've kind of buried the lead there. But I actually travelled up to North Queensland, dragged my partner up there for Win, Learn or Draw Ladies Day 2.0. She had a fantastic time.
Win, Learn or Draw Lady Day.
Lady Day this time. Well, she brought her sister as well. So there were
cool.
A couple of ladies there, which is good.
Awesome.
We missed you guys, but we kind of made it work. But yeah, it felt like a 2024 Tigers game that won for me the first half. A lot of balls hitting the ground, a lot of... it was 2 sin bins as well. A little bit stiff on both of those sin bins as well, I'd say.
Sure.
Got told that 3 ruck infringements in a row is a mandatory sin bin.
I learned that.
I learned that as well because I also learned when the Penrith Panthers did it against the Eels on Sunday, it wasn't a mandatory sin bin, but so I found that quite interesting as well. Just
That's
a different,
funny how the referees...
different curriculum in North Queensland versus Combank Stadium. So.
Okay. I mean, we're very well known by the referees to get our detentions. It's almost like repeat offences.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we're the naughty kid in
We've
school.
got a bit of a reputation for ourselves.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, get us on board, they just kind of go, it's just easy to give this kid a detention.
And Penrith are like the brown noses, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sit up the front of
Teacher's
class,
pet.
answer all the questions. Yeah. And we're at the back.
Yeah, they're going through puberty at the moment. They've been a straight A student for a couple of years. They're mucking up a bit at the moment, but they're still getting a bit of a leg up.
That's right.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, 100%.
But first half, very tough watch. Really
Yes.
tough watch. And just some dumb stuff as well. Like even, and if there's one team you don't want to go a man down against, I actually think it is the Cowboys because they ping the ball around a lot as well. And guys like
So much
Drinkwater,
speed, hey.
Dearden, what's the
Purdue.
Purdue. Outrageous. Like those guys just carved us up when there was an advantage there.
Yeah.
And there was, a moment before half time where we conceded on the 39th minute. I think we probably just needed to get through that set, kick it to a corner and go, that'll do us.
A little bit of ad-lib footy, wasn't it?
A little bit of ad-lib footy, not needed.
Yeah.
Scrum. Scotty Drinkwater goes, thank you, goes 70 metres and scores. Then we've still got 5 minutes of Dewey in the bin after half time. They scored again. That was basically the game one and done in that moment, I think. So
yeah, that was, and Buller almost mowed him down, but he Buller in open space is I think off the mark he's a little bit slower than some of those fast guys, but in open space he's rapid. But that try and then the 40-minute try where Taruva basically ran off the ball.
Yeah.
What happened to the disrupt the rule, Hammy?
Yeah.
Did that just disappear after one round?
No, they got rid of that rule and then they brought in, just for our game, 3 6 agains and you're in the bin.
Oh, yeah. There's
one rule out, one rule in.
That's right. And just to our captain as well, right?
Just our captain.
So that Nanai, because we often spoke about at the start of the year how that little period either side of halftime would we kind of tightened it up a little bit, whereas now we're leaking points in that little period again. We're getting tired. We're coming out of halftime a little bit more tired and it's not working well. Obviously, a man down during that period as well.
Yeah.
Dewey, hey, he can't help that he has a turning circle of a truck. That's what he said.
No,
he said,
I thought that was stiff. I was like, he didn't line him up and push him off. He just kind of was turning around.
Yeah, and that's what he said to the ref. He goes, I've got to turn around.
Yeah.
And that was a bit stiff. So 2 sin bins let us down, I'd say. As I mentioned in the 30-second wrap, without those 20 points we conceded, 4 tries in that 20-minute period, we were down to 12. We win that game 28-12 comfortably.
Yep.
So it's a damning story that, when they have to bully us when we've got one man down, that unfortunately we can't deal with that.
Not much you can do about that.
No, it was a bit disappointing, but really, I guess, bright signs in that last 17 minutes. I thought, and we'll touch on him a little bit later as well, Heath Mason had a cracking game.
Yep.
Did you note, live there, did it feel like he was everywhere?
Yeah, it did. I think just the white headgear helps. You kind of your eyes drawn to him, especially when you're sitting up in row Z of the second tier like we were. But he was fantastic, and we will get to him in the second.
How was the crowd, by the way?
How was it in terms of
how was the vibe? How's the atmosphere? How's the stadium?
Stadium's great. It feels like Combank Stadium, they've just cut one of the ends off just to facilitate a bit of airflow through it. Literally like walking around underneath it, like you feel like you're in Combank Stadium.
Really?
Really good.
Nice.
I thought it was great, right in the middle of town as well. Great vibe up there. If you haven't been up there to a game in Townsville and your team's playing up there, get yourself up there. It was very good. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And then the crowd, the atmosphere,
it was good around town. I did cop a bit of abuse day before the game. Someone actually, I told you they wound down their window down is it the Strand, I think it's called there in Townsville? And they go, "Oh, Hammy, get ready to learn, brother. Go Cowboys." So a bit uncalled for, but turned out to be right.
Ruined the holiday.
Yeah, good to see that we're spreading. We've got listeners in, where we got them, Japan. Palau.
Yep. Nicaragua. Or was it Guatemala?
Guatemala, Equatorial Guinea. Now we've got some up in Townsville as well.
Great.
We're growing.
Awesome. We are growing.
Yep.
Now, I want to touch on a new segment.
Okay.
It's an old segment, but we have
a modern twist on an old favourite.
We have a new sponsor on board.
Oh.
Again, they don't know it.
Oh.
But unfortunately, Waka Noodles just couldn't come to the table. So I wanted to fact check their claim.
Pun intended.
That they are the number one wet noodle, because I don't know if it's self-proclaimed or whether it's actual fact. So I went to a very trusty source called ChatGPT. I said, what is Australia's number one wet noodle?
Yep.
They said...
Well, you'd have to assume it'd be, given what they've put on their own website.
It's on their website, right? So they said if you mean literally, maybe Maggie, or Maggie, sorry.
Yep.
2-minute noodles.
Maggie Island, just been there.
You just been. And then they said maybe Mee Goreng by Indomie.
Oh, yeah.
And then they said, if you mean figuratively, do you mean someone who's weak-willed, ineffective, or uninspiring? And I thought, come on, ChatGPT, you're having a laugh now. I said, what about Waka noodles?
Yep.
And they said, oh, Waka noodles, well-known, Asian style. They're a bit more premium. They put in inverted commas.
Okay.
Because they have Asian street food flavors, bit of convenience. Is it the number one wet noodle? They said popularity and brand recognition. Waka is definitely among the top recognised noodle brands in Australia, stir fry. And I said, okay, well, what's Australia's number 2 wet noodle? And they've come back with, Maggi, fantastic noodles, cup noodles. Now, Waka, if the Waka marketing person is listening to this and us roll off other brands right now, they will be
alarm bells
in the Nicaragua Waka HQ. So let me introduce our new segment. I went with the spiciest noodle that you can get. The Indomie mee goreng spicy play of the week.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had Indomie?
Yeah, spicy.
Yeah, 100%, especially if you add all the spices that come with it. 2 packets.
Yep. If you can be bothered opening 3 or 4 different sachets.
That's right. Get your scissors dirty and get your bench dirty. But it's some of the best noodle going around.
Yeah.
Now, you might call it a dry noodle, but as soon as you put it in the water, believe me, brother,
do we need to draw your diagram?
It becomes a wet noodle. So here we go, the Indomie mee goreng spicy play of the week. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, well, for me, very hard to go past the try before half time. Stafford Toa beat 4 or 5. And the ball went through about, I think we ran it on the last. That's the first important note. And then we spun it all the way over to the left.
Yep.
And then pinged it all the way back over to the right.
Yep.
Well, not quite all the way. One man in. And he did this a few times over the course. And he had his man, which they would have been looking at there, Taruva on the outside, who scored a heap of tries this year. And beat 4 or 5 tacklers, got over the line, kept us in the game. We went to the break 14-6 down, kept us in the game, probably flattered us at that point of the game, I'd say. But kept us in striking distance, gave us a bit of momentum going into the second half. Unbelievable stuff from Stafford Toa. It just feels like whenever we play the Cowboys, he just pencils that in and he goes, yep, that's going to be one of the games I'm going to turn up for this year and give whoever my opposing centre is an absolute bath. He's done it to Val Holmes a few times in the past. 2 tries for this game, almost 200 metres. I know you mentioned him as Star Toa in your 30-second review.
Well, I only have a limited amount of time.
That's, I know, trying to abbreviate.
Savvy.
But I think it's fitting because what he really reminds me of in these Cowboy games is like he's playing Mario Kart and he's just got a star. And people can't tackle him. He's just running over the top of people.
Yeah.
He goes a little bit quicker.
He does.
So, I thought he was outstanding. I thought that try was excellent at the end of the first half.
I saw a stat. I think it might have been shared on Nothing But West Tigers Twitter page, which is easily my favourite social media page probably.
Yep.
He was saying, or they were saying that he has 8 line breaks in the last 3 games against the Cowboys. He said, what's with Star Toa turning into peak Mal Meninga every time he plays the Cowboys or English as I've referenced? Honestly, mate, was it Zach Labert?
Yes,
marking
it
him?
was.
He had an ordinary night. Zach Labert, because he got
he was laying on his butt quite a bit after Stafford Toa was running all over.
Sit down. But yeah, mate, again, we call for this consistency from Stafford.
Yep.
And it's all we want as fans and all we want as the Win, Learn or Draw podcast team.
100%.
If he plays like that every week, we win the comp, as Reece Smith famously says.
Absolutely. Well, the last couple of years he's kind of gone good game, bad game, good game. There's a lot of this going on.
Yeah.
This season he went like this for a little while, then he kind of just idled a little bit. On the weekend, it feels like he's ironing out the consistency a little bit. He's definitely improving. So,
well, I feel like Penrith, who we'll touch on a bit later, we're playing them this weekend, are very vulnerable around the centre.
Yeah, they
kind
are.
of spot. They've probably tightened it up the last few weeks a little bit, but him running it, whoever their left centre is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Because if he activates Mal Meninga mode, then away we go.
I think they're left centre McLean at the moment, and you got Tungo on the right side.
Who found out? There you go.
Yeah, and they got the youngster Jenkins on the wing there too. So that side might be
just spread.
The area
go left, then go right, and then pretend you're going out to the wing, but just Star Toa goes straight through.
Yep. Well, I saw a clip. I haven't watched the full clip, but I just saw one from Joel and Fletch on SEN, and Sugar was saying, just play your Tigers footy, ping it around. Honestly, that's where you're most dangerous.
Look at those 17 minutes at the end of the game, man.
Don't worry too much about trying to replicate other teams. Just own that style of footy is yours.
It's Benji's the coach, man. That's how he plays.
It suits some of the guys in there.
Yeah.
Your Terrell Mays, your Appy in particular, Jerome too. So.
One of my favourite moments of the game actually was I I think we might have knocked it back or they knocked it on. It was down the right-hand side of the field near the try line. And Brent Naden turned around and chipped it backwards for us to play on. And I was like, that is eyes up footy and heads up footy because everyone was feeling like their heads up.
Correct.
Even NATO had a solid game. But
still not sure about using him as impact off the bench.
Well, he played back row.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Strange.
Interesting. Read a few good lines, but very strange. So there you go. Indo-Me, Megarang.
Nice one.
Spicy play
Is it
of the
still
week.
up for grabs? Like if Walker want to pick up the phone, we still...
Mate, Maggie, fantastic. Whoever. Look, we are open. The thing about it is it's going to consistently say the spicy play of the week. Hey, Sriracha Sauce could pick this segment up.
Yep.
KFC.
Like it.
Who knows? Right. Let's get into the set of 6.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered a lot about the game, but the set of 6 lends itself well to some moments that happened outside the game as well.
Yes.
I think it's an obscure way to look at the Tigers week that was. I wanted to take tackle 1 to give a shout out to John Wade, not John Wayne, in West Tigers Will Never Die, the Facebook group,
Great group.
the fan page group, one of the best groups going around. Second favourite social page for me, behind Nothing But West Tigers.
Yep.
Now, I think Johnny Wade lives in Townsville.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw this.
Yeah, and he is a top contributor to the group. You get a little top contributor badge.
Yep.
So I really hope he listens to the potty. And if you do, Johnny, please send us a message.
Please give us a review on Apple Podcast.
So, please. So he put up a post earlier in the week before the Tigers had headed up there. And he said, I'm rarely one to voice disappointment with our club, but I really am this time. A month ago, I contacted the Canberra Raiders for my elderly father to find out that when they were training in Townsville. The Raiders sent me a reply with the exact time and place straight away. I did the same for myself a few weeks ago to see the Tigers up here in Townsville. The following is their reply after 3 weeks. Basically said, look, sorry, we're not doing a fan-based kind of thing, training session.
Yep.
And he said, surely the club can do better than that for the fans that aren't Sydney-based. Last time they made fans pay for a meet and greet. Now, I felt a bit sorry for Johnny because I was like, obviously he's a diehard fan.
Yep.
You rarely get to see your team come up all the way to Townsville to play. So, to see them in the flesh when they're not playing is a pretty good privilege to have. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand what the club's doing as well. They're obviously got their eyes on the game. They're focused on winning and not learning. But what Johnny Wade did is went his own way. He said, who needs club approval to watch the boys train? Did it anyway. Orange love heart, white love heart, black heart love heart emoji.
Orange, white and black.
We're back.
Yep.
Boys were the best, so professional and obliging.
Oh.
So he got a pick with Nato, Hodjo, Benji, Star, Royce, Terrell, Early Jack Bird, Hopi, Meso, Romy, and Remy. How
good's that?
That's about as good as you get. And
That's a big same game multi.
That's a big one. It's a 12-legger.
Yep.
And I think the big kind of call out here is that Royce Hunt was in a selfie with him smiling.
Yep.
And Jerome Luai was in a selfie with him.
Yes.
So the airport debacle of this nuffy Cowboys fan
Yep.
trying to get a selfie, those boys were like, no thanks, mate.
Yep.
Johnny Wade goes down there in his Tigers kit. I think he's got a sleeveless Tigers tee on up there as
Love
well.
it.
I'm like,
Well, you
this
need
guy-
it up there.
Yeah, it's
You do.
steamy.
Yep.
And got a photo with all these boys who were, as he said, so professional and obliging.
Doesn't surprise me.
I
Great
love
culture.
that story.
Me
that
too.
He's just gone down and gone bang. And the selfies are great. All the boys look so happy.
They're good.
Yeah.
Good
Did
angles.
You see him around the town or anything?
I didn't see him around the town, but I think I did see those photos. The next day I was like, that's a heartwarming yarn. I like that. Good to see the boys obliging with the... And it just goes to show, if they're not eating or they're not on a FaceTime with their kids...
Yep.
They're good blokes.
Exactly.
So you put the airport, where are the journos reporting on this good news story? Where's your Clicks Chamises of the world now?
I don't reckon he's even in the West Tigers Will Never Die group.
Yeah.
Chamis, and that's where all the good stuff is.
It's where the good stuff. Get him in there.
Yeah.
Come on down, Clicks Chamis.
Come on
Jump in
down,
there,
Clicksy.
See what you're missing out on, rather than just writing, critical stuff.
Just quickly on Chamis, did you see his head-to-head with Phil Gould the other day?
Outstanding.
Some of the best rugby league television I've seen in a long time.
Really good stuff.
Really good
More on Clicks Chamis coming up soon in the set of 6 as well.
Okay, let's move on then because
Yep.
can't wait to hear it. Tackle 2, just calling out a couple of players.
Yep.
Obviously, last
Call
week
them out.
we had in a good way.
Yeah.
We had some good feedback on giving Tony Sukar a birthday shout out.
Yep.
So much so that people were messaging us saying, "Happy birthday, big fella." I don't know.
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
thought Tony could see it.
Yep.
But thank you for that.
If you're listening, Tony, a lot of love out there for you.
I'm
Put
sure
some
he is.
Pro birthday rhetoric out there into the Ether.
He had a good little stint as well.
Very good.
Made a few little...
Enormous human.
Yes.
Big man.
Yeah. Could probably fit in this shirt, actually.
Yeah.
That
That nice World Sevens West Tigers moo that you've got there.
Yeah. So, story is this is NRL roast wore this, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's a slight bit bigger man than I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I probably didn't realise how much bigger he is.
Yeah.
Until
You
I
know
put
what
this
you
on.
kind of, you know that episode of Simpsons where the carnies go and like move into the Simpson house and they're wearing Homer's clothes and the guy's out on the lawn going, "Look at me, I'm a millionaire." That's what you look like in that.
You know what's funny? There are people at work that call me Cooter because they reckon I look exactly like him with the bow.
Yeah,
Maybe I get a little bit of a longer
growing a little
hair.
mullet. You look a little bit like a mix between him and the Tiger King.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure.
Elliot Exotic. Oh, that's good stuff. Thank you, mate. But yeah, thank you, Roasty, for the shirt as well.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, player call-outs, player mentions. So Tony Sukai's birthday last week. Heath Mason's birthday this week.
The big 2-0. Celebrated
Wow.
20 years this year. So did the club winning their premiership, obviously. More on that later in the set of six. But
Heath Mason still has to pay a surcharge on renting a car.
he does.
Wears white headgear.
Yep.
His debut in the number 6, like he's played for us before in
He
first
has.
grade, but geez, he looked good.
Often at fullback. And the poor bloke, you know, got hammered under the high ball by some of the better halfbacks and stuff like that. But he came through the system as a 6. Aussie schoolboys is a number 6. This is the position that he prefers to play. I was very impressed. I thought he was fantastic at number 6. So he celebrated his 20th birthday with the number 6 jersey. He'll remember that. But I assume he went to the Mad Cow after to celebrate as well up in Townsville.
No doubt.
But I thought he was excellent. And especially when the whips were cracking, we needed to get the comeback going in the set. It feels like whatever Benji said to him at half time was like really got him going. He was good in the first half as well, but he really started running the footy a bit more in the second half. Poked his head through, got through the line a few times.
Really good offload line break.
Couple of offload, almost had a couple more if someone else was going with him. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was really good. So
Really good.
I don't know how long Latu is away from. I'd still want to see Latu.
Yeah, what does that mean for you?
Well, I still want to see Latu get given a good crack in there, if I'm honest. I think he probably has earned the right, but I could see Heath Mason being a really good 14. I think he covers a lot of areas through the back line and could have great impact like he did on the weekend when there's a few tired bodies out there.
Tell you what, look at our plethora of halves. No wonder that pumpkin pie haircutted freak left the club.
Yeah. It's a good point.
It's a Dumb and Dumber reference. If you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't being mean then, but he's got the same haircut.
Well, the haircut's a Dumb and Dumber reference as well, I assume.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah.
Piss take. And we're not allowed to name him either on the podcast anymore. And then the other shout out, mate, I cannot wrap this guy enough. Jareem Buller.
Yep.
50 games. He just brought, that was his 50th NRL game. Half century. I've mentioned
You got to go on and turn that into a big 100 now, mate.
Yeah.
Start again.
Head down. That's
Yep.
right. You're at 0. He is a superstar, bona fide superstar.
Yep.
He had a bit of a rough start to the game, dropped that bomb, or caught the bomb and then dropped it afterwards.
Yep.
And what see the disappointment, slamming the ball in the ground. I'm like, that's the type of bloke that we want in the team. And then again, his chases, his ball running, he just looks so hard to tackle. He's got that skinny man upper body strength.
Yep.
The try he scored with 6 minutes to go. I just think 50 games. He obviously has had a little bit of a roller coaster where he started massively. He got a bit of
second year syndrome.
bit of SYS.
It happens.
And third year he's come out, and I think we need to throw the checkbook at him. To be honest, I think he.
Yep.
Sorry, mate. I just scraped my shoe along
No,
the
that's
ground.
fine.
I distracted you.
You're pretty keen to throw that checkbook at him, boss, man.
I'm very keen to throw the checkbook at him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I reckon he's the future of the club. But you got similar raps on him? or
No,
what?
very similar raps.
Yeah.
Similar concerns about who his agent is. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer on things, but
But you still got the Beards for Buller going this week.
Beards for Buller, obviously that's working for the time being. Here's to the next 50. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, he's a gun, and his last. In fact, this season he's been excellent. Been back to his first season form, but he was outstanding on the weekend. Big test obviously against the Panthers this week, but hopefully he can keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he debuted against the Panthers back in 2023
In the rain, in Bathurst.
in the rain and made that tackle on Cleary. I think Terrell May probably has the Kelly Barnes Award locked down this year already.
So
but
far, yeah.
I think Buller's getting close, man. He's already got one. He got in his rookie year. So, Yeah, big raps to Heath Mason, birthday boy, and milestone Buller, 50 games. So
Love it.
That's your tackle 2. Tackle 3.
Yeah, well, we just said we wouldn't name him, but it's going to be hard to go through tackle 3 and 4 without naming him.
Try it.
Try? Okay. All right. No, I got to say it because it could potentially be the title again.
Yeah, okay.
Because we had such good success with the initial title last week.
Yeah.
I feel like we could double down, which is with the big bold word in the middle. So Galvin is officially a dog now. He's put pen to paper. Really nice, clean process with no extra questions needing to be asked. Obviously, photographed in full dogs training kit, training with the team before it was announced or that he'd signed with the team. So seamless there, doesn't look dodgy at all. Some of the concerns that Chamis had with Phil Gould, completely unfounded, I think.
Yeah, honest club.
Honest. Really honest.
Honest club.
So that all happened. Then a photo did get released of him signing a contract. Let us know in the comments. Has there ever been a contract signed with a worse haircut than that? And
is it the most pumpkin pie haircutted freak haircut you've ever seen? Because it is the closest to Lloyd Christmas I've ever seen.
It is.
Yeah.
It's literally like he's going to go, give me the Lloyd Christmas.
And you know how in Dumb and Dumber they put this tiny little bowl on his head and then cut it around? That is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
Well, I mentioned on the Bloke Show today, we've obviously got Galvin Bowl on Monday, Dogs versus Eels.
Oh.
Will they play for the bowl that his hair was cut in? Is what I'm looking forward to seeing. So we'll find out
like
on
a
Monday.
Social post if
we'll find out on Monday.
One. Yeah.
And then he did an interview with the Dogs.
Very awkward.
Very awkward. But
go back and count the amount of times he says "and."
Yeah, if you back the overs on the ums, congratulations, you will have been paid out there. But some pointed language, they kind of asked him if he'd be what he's looking forward to at the club, and he said that Bulldogs players have each other's backs, which felt like a bit of a shot, at the club that he's just left. He likes just how much grit that the Dogs show. When asked about Serraldo, he goes, "I just think he's a real leader." Just a couple of little bits, and his driving standards here that are pretty cool. It's something I want to be part of. There's just a lot of stuff here.
Bit of a glory hunting comment as well, right? Like, I like where the Bulldogs are at the moment.
Watching the path and seeing the path the Dogs are on at the moment and how they're going week in, week out. That's what's really drawn me to the club. Just a few little, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all been so dirty, man, since the moment. Do you know what? Since he tried to leave, do you remember like the end of last year he was talking about leaving? It's just felt really dirty since then. I don't think Good Riddance is just a good Green Day song. I think this applies to this scenario right now because he loved him on the field and he seemed like a nice guy, but the way he's operated through this whole thing has been very doggish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the shoe fits, hey?
Yeah.
And unlucky, we spoke about the calendar curse last week. If you bought the official West Tigers 2025 calendar, you'll have just turned over the month of May and you'll have said goodbye to David Clemmer, who left us in March, and you'll be turning over to Mr. June, Lockie Galvin, who literally left us in May. So all the best with the calendar for the rest of the year. Who else are we going to lose?
Bit of a missed trick not putting Terrell May on May.
What are they thinking?
What were they? We should do we should do calendars next year.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because we know what dates are coming up.
We do.
Yeah.
We've got a good lead in, haven't we? They've just announced them, actually.
3rd of Jan.
Which is good.
4th of Jan.
Yeah.
Tackle 4.
Yep.
Continuing
Galvin,
on.
All right. So, post went up today, NRL on 9. Lachlan Galvin, exclusive tell-all interview tonight on 100% footy.
Wow.
So, win on a draw. I thought we'd weigh in on Instagram, and I just commented, the page just commented saying, Chamis doing that interview. Currently sitting on 75 likes, most liked comment on the posts. They haven't pinned it, but NRL on 9, if you want to pin that, that'd be great. Get us involved. And, people just, jumping in, saying that we've beat them to it, all that sort of stuff. Great comment here from one of the punters. Great opportunity for Gus to meet him for the first time as well. Which I quite like.
Brilliant. That's so good.
So, look, it's going to be... I think I'm going to have to watch. Curiosity's going to get the better of me on that one.
Yeah, true. That's really interesting stuff. That's but he's like, it'll be good, but they're going to ask him very, very easy questions for him to answer, right?
Yep.
Because Gus is on that
I
panel.
hope Clicks Chamis is on there. Clicks Chamis, Galvin, and Gus all on the same panel with Isaac Moses losing his shit off camera.
There's no way they'll let Chamo
Get the popcorn out.
You reckon?
Well, not after the way they rushed him the previous time, but
Yeah.
I think he's earned his stripes, hasn't he? We're all drawn to Click's Chamis last.
Win, learn, or drawn?
Win, learn, or drawn to him last week because that was the amount of engagement they would have got off the cut downs of that post as well. Of that argument.
He's just gone a bit loopy since then, though. Like he's kind of like walking around with his chest out now.
Yeah,
like, did you see what I did? So yeah, very chamo of him.
Yeah.
I'm also not sure if the NRL and Nine guys listen to podcasts because I don't know if you saw the other day, but the Hello Sport boys were talking about Joey Johns referencing the ball.
Yep.
And they played the clip of Eddie and Tom looking very hungover, as they do.
Yep.
Every state
Business
of origin.
as usual.
Business as usual.
Post state of origin.
And Billy Slater's like, are they hungover? And then Joey's like, oh, they're so hungover, mate. Blah, blah, blah. They're, it's almost like they'd never heard of Hello Sport before.
Yeah. Well, I think Joey has.
You'd think so.
But Billy let himself down there in a bad week for
the
Billy.
bush poet,
The bush poet, as they call him. Hilarious stuff. Or maybe he's trying to like do the whole like too cool for like he knows they call him the bush poet. He's trying to kind of like put him back in their place a little bit, but
maybe
didn't work for him.
No, bad week for Billy.
A real bad week.
Really bad week.
Yep.
All right. Looking forward to that tonight. Paid promotion there for Channel 9. Tackle
Pin our comment.
Pin our comment. We'll do it more.
Paid my chicken coop.
Tackle 5, possibly the most important tackle in the set.
Well, most important, or most upsetting. I don't know how you want to cut it. But, the West Tigers had their 20th year premiership reunion last Friday at Leichhardt Oval.
Great.
Interesting call. Like usually they do it at a game. I guess maybe they're thinking there is like if we do it at a game, Benji can't be part of it because he's coaching, and they got a few people obviously who are now head coaches, Todd Payton as well.
Yep.
There's a few notable omissions, and the big one was Tim Sheens didn't attend. Obviously fell out of the club in pretty bad circumstances in 2023.
Yep.
Year one into a 5-year succession plan.
Yep.
Didn't even see the year out, left early, and Benji had to take the reins as the head coach early. But they all tried to get him back. I think Benji tried to get him back. Scott Prince, I think, reached out. Mark O'Neill. A lot of guys tried to get him there, and he just said, no, I'm not doing it. So a bit disappointing to see that he wasn't there. Robbie Farah, another notable omission as well.
Interesting.
Overseas. But again, I know that he potentially didn't leave on the best of terms as well.
Yep.
So a bit disappointing. Like you would have thought that hopefully they could put it all aside for the big 2-0.
And is this the only one they're doing this year? Are they not doing one around October, like October?
Don't
5?
know. Unsure. I feel like this was it. It felt a little bit off Broadway. As I said, not at a game. They did it at Leichhardt Oval. I don't know if there was another game happening at the time there, but there was a photo of them all in the rooms, and it looked like the guys that were there were having a good time, but some key figures not involved there, which is sad to see that they couldn't come together not only for the 20-year reunion, but also for Heath Mason's 20th birthday. So
yeah, true. And Sukar's 21st.
Yeah,
big birthday week, and Mon's birthday as well. Right?
And Mon's birthday,
huge.
And that was probably the one that really hit home with me.
Yeah, my mum's birthday too, 29th.
Put a real sour mark on Win, Learn or Draw Ladies Day 2.0, if I'm being honest with you. So hopefully they can do better for Win, Learn or Draw Ladies Day 3.0.
Some good attendees though, like Princey, Hodjo, Mark O'Neill, Payton.
Payton was there.
Wow, that's pretty special. All these guys went to other clubs.
Yep. No, like the bulk of the rest of the guys, all the guys were there. Paul Federer was there. All the Bryce Gibbs was there, mucking around at the back. Glenn Fulton, he was there. So
mate, great.
Brings a tear to the eye seeing the guys that were there. Just would have been good to see them all back in the same spot. But maybe for the 25-year reunion or something like that.
Yeah, let's try and go to
the 21st. They should do a big 21st.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let's host that.
That'd be good.
Okay.
I think we were massive contributors to that premiership. So we should be there.
15 years old. I told you I made a West Tigers flag.
Yeah.
Orange, black and white. Black, white, orange. White, orange, black.
Yep.
Big checkered flag.
Yeah.
Just for a barbecue.
Yeah, that out.
Didn't even go to the game. I could go find it.
Yep.
Like it. All right. Let's go a bit more of a positive note. Tackle 6.
Yeah, I like this. And I think this could be a potential recurring tackle through the course of the season.
Yeah, let's hold the ball and run it on the last because tackle 6, we've got the Reggie Rap.
Yep.
Not to be confused with Reggie Rabbit, but the Reggie Rap, we're going to look at how West Magpies are doing in the knock-on effect New South Wales Cup.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
I think so.
I guess.
I think that's they did change the sponsor quite a bit.
Yes.
Okay,
let's just call it New South Wales. Let's just call it Reggie's.
Yeah.
Just having a look at some of the fringe first graders or some of the first graders that have played for the West Tigers this year and dropped back down. Yeah, fringe benefits. The There's two players I wanted to call out who had absolute blinders. And again, I have to thank nothing but West Tigers here because he contributes so much.
Yep.
He's a very good contributor from first grade all the way down to the young blokes as well, and then NRLW as well. So much depth. So he was just pointing out some of the kind of superstars that we have in that West Magpies team. Now, he did upset the Newtown Jets, 32-22.
The old foe.
Yes. West Newtown. How good's that?
Yep.
Luke Laulii, he got a try and 3 try assists playing fullback.
Nice.
So he's saying it's one of the best games he's ever seen him play in his natural position too. So he is a fullback.
Okay.
You might see on Supercoach, he's FLB/CTW. Double threat. So good to see him performing really well. I mean, talking of wingers, it looks like we're having Skelton back very soon. Staines he's been playing so well, man.
He's been good.
He has been sensational.
Yep. 200 metres.
Like Art Lambo. Yeah, scored a try. Taruva, solid as always. Probably not getting those tries as he was kind of earlier on in the year.
Yep.
Probably basically since we introduced that chant, I don't think he's scored.
Yeah. Love to use that chant in situ at some point. But Stafford Toa just playing too well to
That's
pass.
right. It's not passing outside. That's right. He's got the star. It'd be good to get someone to edit a video of Stafford Toa running with the...
That'd be great. West Tigers, make it happen.
Yes, West
And
Tigers.
collab post with us, please. That was good that last
Yeah,
one.
collab. And the other player is Talon De Silva. Played a whole 80 minutes.
Yep.
Which is basically, I think, what they're trying to do with him is put him down and get him big minutes. Because in first grade, he might be playing, with the big boys, but he's only getting 20, 30 minutes. And it's just not enough to get his match fitness up. But he scored a try as well.
Nice.
I believe he put Laulii through a hole, and that was his try.
Beautiful.
So he had a really good game across the entire 80 minutes as well. So big rap and Reggie's there for Luke Laulii and Talon De Silva playing 80 minutes. So
love it. Love that depth.
We need it.
We do.
We need it. And a win too.
How good's that?
A win.
How they going, the Maggies?
On mid to low table.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were outsiders in that game
Nice.
against Newtown.
Big upset.
The Sharks Feeders Club. Yep. But we got out to a very healthy lead and they mowed us down. So 32-22 is still a good result.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's your Reggie wrap for this week.
Love the Reggie wrap. Looking forward to more of that.
Sponsored by Mission, Helga's, Mountain Bread.
Mission's good, like their lime chili corn chips. So if we get them on board, that'd be good.
Okay, I was more thinking of the wraps.
They're a little bit expensive too, so
that makes more sense.
Don't have to pay for them. That'd be great. We do the chip and chase. Brought to you by Mission Chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, drink sponsor as well for that.
Brainstorm that. Hey, speaking of brands,
Yep,
let's go to an ad break.
love it.
All right, back from the ad break. A few good brands there.
Absolutely.
Couldn't get Mission on and couldn't get Indomie on, but we give them organic mentions, so that's okay.
Mission Impossible getting them on board at the moment. So I'll leave it with you, Mr. Sales.
Yeah, leave that with Indomie.
Okay. All right. Shall we get into
Let's do it.
the
top 05. I'm very excited for this one. Yeah, it was teased last week, right?
Teased last week. If you've been going, when are they going to get to the top 05? Well, you're in luck because we're doing it now. I'm just going to change the colour of the font. What we do, a little peek behind the production curtain here, we put it in the shared document and tell the other person not to access it while we're doing it. And then we change the font colour to white. And then then we tell them they can go back in there and keep adding their bits. Then when we get on the show, I put it in back to black so I can read it. And I just tell you to shut your laptop a little bit. So little peek behind the curtain there of how we do the top 05.
Oh my God. What a well polished show.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We go to an break or you want to get straight into it?
The white font to black font is the most dynamic piece of podcast.
I should have done orange, white and black. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to make ad breaks orange. So there is a little bit of orange.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Good. That's enough of a peek behind the curtain today, I think. So what we're doing today is the top 05 West Tigers wingers that you haven't thought about in a while.
Oh.
Yeah. So some great names here that we're going to dust off and, you'll be familiar with, I'd say, just about all of them.
I don't want to hope so. Yeah.
There's a few honourable mentions here as well, which I'll get to.
On men's, yep.
But we'll start from the start. So
let's do it.
I'm going to kick off with, we'll start with number 1 and work our way up to 05. Yeah, you happy with that?
I think we're happy with that.
Coming in at number 1, He played 8 games for the club in between the seasons 08 and 09.
8 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debuted in round 1 of the 2008 season. Scored 3 tries. Named in the Fiji squad for the 2008 World Cup. Didn't play. I'm talking, of course, of Penny Tungave.
Oh, what a play. 8 games. I would have thought he played more.
Well, could have easily played more. He had a few injury concerns, and he kind of got squeezed out of the club. Went to St George.
That's right.
For a little while. Played 5 games there. Scored another 3 tries there. More injuries. Went to the Roosters. Played 5 games there without scoring. But then after that, he actually went and had a stint at Baylor University, having a crack at American football.
I remember that.
Where he was a defensive end for the Baylor.
He's on defense, wasn't he?
Yeah, which you would have thought rugby league probably the natural progression, especially as an athletic
big lad
winger.
too, big athletic winger.
Absolutely. Didn't quite work out. Came back and had a crack at rugby union. Played for the Canberra Vikings in the whatever that weird tournament below Super Rugby was they had for a while.
Yep.
Played in that for a little while. So that's basically his rugby, all of his football code journey. But Penny Tungave, I was a big fan of his work and really wanted it to work and to see a little bit more of him. I thought he was a very exciting player.
And just on the cusp of the greatness West Tigers era of 2010, 2011. So he was part of that rebuild.
Right in between there.
Rebuild era, yeah. Unlucky for Penny. I do remember driving through Texas with my mate Jesse, who's a big Tigers fan as well.
Yep.
And we drove past Baylor University, which I believe is around Waco, Texas.
Okay.
And straight away, Penny, that reminds me of Penny Tungave.
Oh, how good.
And for the next
penny drop.
30 to 45 seconds, we spoke about Penny Tungave. And
how good's that?
yeah, so that was in 2014, so I haven't thought about him since then, so well done.
We should get him on as a guest in the off-season or something.
Yeah.
Penny Tungave, Penny for your thoughts.
Penny, his own segment.
Yeah, well, just the title of the episode.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's number 1.
Number 1.
Happy with that?
Yeah, very good.
Number
start.
2, West Tigers wingers you haven't thought about in a while. Who better than 23 gamer between the seasons of 2016, 2017, a real golden era for the club. He debuted for the Gold Coast Titans in 2008 as a 16-year-old half.
Oh, yep.
I'm talking, of course, of Jordan Rankin.
Jordan Rankin.
Yep. Came in, played on the Sting. Did not have that on my bingo card at the start of the 2016 season.
No, because he played pretty well in the Super League, right?
Yeah,
like
he
he
did.
had big raps on him there.
Yep, he didn't get much of a crack. Yeah, 16-year-old debutant, maybe potentially the youngest debutant ever, if not one of the youngest debutants ever in first grade.
Yeah.
He went on the record saying probably not the best for his development, kind of mucked him up a little bit, but he went over to Hull FC, played 50 games for them, then he came back to the Tigers. Then he went back over to the Super League after a short stint with us. And he is the first of, and there's a couple actually through the Tigers club history, dual Tigers. He went and played for the Castleford Tigers in the Super League in 2019 and 2020. Played 31 games for those guys.
And when you said he played for Hull, it wasn't the football team, the soccer team, because they're the Tigers as well. Hull City FC.
No, it was Hull FC, but not Hull City FC. Okay, so gotcha. Just a dual Tiger, not a
triple Tiger,
not a triple threat.
Okay,
but there's one I hadn't thought about in a while. Jordan Rankin.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I feel like he was okay. Like he put in a few good little performances, kicked goals.
Yeah, he did
as well.
Better than I thought. When he first came, I was like, "What?
Yeah,
on the wing."
Yeah, had some genuine utility value about him as well because he could have slotted into the halves.
Bigger body, obviously. When he debuted, he was small, young guy, but he was did his job for a couple of years on the wing there. So
yeah, nice one.
There you go.
List is
strong
so
start.
far. Yeah,
strong start. About to get stronger.
Okay.
Because at number 3. I'm talking 40 gamer for the West Tigers in between 2010 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. Think you might know where I'm going here. I'm talking, of course, of Mitch Ronald Edwin Brown.
Yep. MRE Brown. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yep. So, obviously had, there's some long injuries that happened to Chris Lawrence and Lottie Takiri around that time. So he kind of came in and slotted in.
Mitch Backfence Brown.
Mitch Backfence Brown. That's right. So he played a lot of rugby league for a lot of different clubs, had a couple of stints at the Sharks, left halfway through the 2012 season to go to play for the Dogs as well, probably best known for his football there. But look, I just think when I was looking at the criteria for this list, the Tigers you hadn't thought about in a while. We may have mentioned him because we might have thought he was related to Tom Backfence Brown.
That's right, because he scored that try where Benji threw the ball behind his back.
That's right.
Down the left sting.
Yep.
He also played fullback.
Yes.
Or, when we were in 2010 and maybe Molson was injured.
Yep.
So He, again, utility value, winger by heart, but could play kind of anywhere in that back line. Great addition. Mitch Brown. Yeah, really good one. And was there during the Proton Cars era. Like
he was.
The 2010, 2011.
He was. Filled in, you're quite right, for Tim Moulton before he became a buyer's agent for Cohen Handler Real Estate.
And if you need a good house on the Central Coast, who should you see?
Tim Moulton.
Okay, thought so.
Yeah. So, which is interesting because he was also safe as houses under the high ball, and he's kind of taken that.
I don't know if he was.
Obsession with houses into what he does now. So, anyway, this isn't the fullbacks you haven't thought about in a while segment. This is the wingers you haven't thought about in a while.
Yes, sorry.
So, Mitch, Ronald, Edward, and Brown, congratulations, you're number 3.
And how could I have possibly known it was him because the font was white before this segment went live?
No spoilers for the top 05 wingers you haven't thought about in a while. We're going on now to number 4. We're getting to the pointy end here.
Yeah, definitely.
And this one, I mean, a real crowd favourite. Is he a little bit too well known? I don't think so. I think he's right in the sweet spot, to be honest. He played 21 games for the Tigers between 2018 and 2019. He actually was the first, I believe, now talking to Joel Kane about this, I'm pretty sure he was the first one that came through the pathway in Melbourne to play first grade. I'm talking, of course, of Mahe Fanua.
Nice.
Yep. Mahe in Melbourne, they used to call him.
Oh, clever.
Because where he kind of came through. So, obviously went over and played for Hull. I think he won a winger of the year over there. Came back to the Tigers, played a bit of wing, bit of centre, but mainly on the wing.
Yep.
One hell of a mullet as well.
Huge mullet. Back when mullets weren't really in either.
No, he kind of brought him back in a big way. Big middle finger to the people who weren't ready for a mullet. He brought it back in a big way.
Yep.
Paved the way for Tigers like Royce Hunt and stuff to continue with that tradition later down the track. 16 tries across his 2 seasons. I thought he was 6 tries across his 2 seasons with the club. And he joins the list of blokes who have been a dual Tiger. Went and played for the Castleford Tigers. 35 games for them, 6 tries for them also. So there you go.
Once a Tiger, always a Tiger, as they say.
Second dual Tiger on the list.
He was a gun player. Probably didn't quite live up to his standard that he was at Melbourne when he came to the Tigers, which is pretty par for the course,
it is.
Unfortunately. Yep. But I remember him having some good moments, some good games. I remember when we signed him, I was like, this is a great signing. Yep. But maybe a little bit older than he was throughout that Melbourne Storm Super League era. But a very, very valid winger I hadn't thought about in a while. Yeah. You're on fire at the moment. I haven't disagreed with one yet.
Well, you're going to love this last one coming in at 05. And I think there's only one place this guy could have come in. It's 05. I'm talking, of course, about 4-time West Tiger. Played 4 games for the club in the COVID era in 2021. Potentially, maybe when we won the premiership, there might have been some exceptions to this, but one of the only Tigers to appear on the front and back page of the paper at the same time.
I know who this is. He's your favourite.
Resident Barry Dawson doppelganger, Zach Seeney. Now, he scored a try on debut, could have had a second, it was disallowed.
That's right.
He had some friends sitting down in the corner who went absolutely ballistic when he scored. I think it was at Wynn Stadium, that first game that he played.
Yep, against Dragons.
Really wanted it to work and him to do well because he just had cult hero written all over him. But one of those classic examples that you get in entertainment where you were left wanting more. Yep. 4 games for us, then he nipped over to Parramatta, didn't play a first grade game for them. But in
was it? Yeah, okay.
Stuck it out with them for 3 seasons. And then on the 21st of August 2024, it was announced that Zach Seeney would be joining a proud list of Tigers and becoming a dual Tiger for the Castleford Tigers.
No way.
Where he's been playing his trade this season. He's played 12 games for him. He's scored 4 tries. He's going great guns over there. So good to see. We've had 3 dual Tigers in the top 05 wingers you haven't thought about in a while.
And was that part of the criteria?
No, it wasn't. Just a happy coincidence.
Kawinky dink.
Yep.
Good list, mate.
Happy with that?
Yeah, really happy with that. The only thing I will say is in number 05 is that I have thought of Zach Seeney recently.
Well, I think we might have spoken about him and potentially played some Barry Dawson clips. But if we hadn't have done that, I think it would have been perfect.
Potentially, we might have done that.
It would have been.
Yeah, no, I get it too because you're right. He had all the makings of a cult hero.
Yep.
That try, I remember. I think we won that game as well against the Dragons in a tight contest. So it was. And then why was he on the back and front page? Do you know?
Just because he was such a cult hero.
Yeah, because he had a big blonde mullet.
Slow news day, positive news story. I think it was like the COVID era, so they were kind of scraping around. Like, do we do another how many cases today story, or do we do a guy with a mullet playing rugby league?
Do we put Gladys on the front or Barry Dawson on the front of the paper?
It's a pretty easy decision, isn't it?
It's a very easy
Stop
decision.
the presses.
Mate.
Barry's going on the front. So look, that's my list. Top 05. Did I get it right? Let us know in the comments on YouTube. Who would you have in your top 05 West Tigers wingers you haven't thought about in a while? Some honourable mentions that I had there. Luke Cavell.
Oh, very good.
Yep, I'd probably thought of him a bit too recently for him to go on that list. But
Goal kicking winger.
Yep, outrageous stuff, which is good. Daniel Fitzhenry, who was at the reunion the other day. Taniela Tuaki, but we speak about him regularly on the show. Probably cost him a spot. Couple of good shouts here. Curtis Rowe is one I certainly haven't thought of in a while.
No offense, Curtis. When did he play? Do you know?
Yeah, around that 2010.
Did he?
Maybe between the 2008 to 2010 era, I reckon. Curtis Rowe.
I thought he was a back rower, but maybe that's because his name's Curtis Rowe.
Yeah, Curtis back row.
Curtis
back row.
Jai
Hitchcocks, but we mentioned him I think earlier in the maybe in episode 1 or 2 in another list.
Do you know what's funny about Jai Hitchcocks is that I have a friend who we were playing NFL fantasy.
Yep.
There's a wide receiver who played for the Indianapolis Colts called T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, yep.
And my friend was picking this player and he said J.Y. Hitchcocks. And everyone kind of laughed.
Like it.
I think his name's Jai Hitchcocks.
Yep.
Not J.Y.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah.
So you had thought of him recently as well. Matt Utah was another one I had there.
Speaking of turning circles of trucks.
Oh, yeah. A lot of great options, but couldn't fit them all in. Hope you're happy with the list.
Yeah, no, it's great. I feel like with those honourable mentions as well, that's a robust list of West Tigers wingers. And a lot of cult heroes there as well, or like, memorable, but not memorable beyond the point of remembering them now.
Yeah.
Which means your criteria was met perfectly.
That's what one thing. If there's one thing I love, it is a well-met criteria. And I think that's what happened today.
I agree. Hey, speaking of well-met criteria, this is pretty tough segue. Raw emotion.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to go to an ad break after me there. Raw emotion. We love to hear, if you're new to the show, we love to hear your raw emotion. It's spelled R-O-A-R.
Now, I've just seen this on the run sheet. You spelled it R-O-A-R, but I have always thought, ever since I was a kid, and I could spell, that raw emotion was spelled R-A-W.
Yeah, most of the time it is, but in this context, I think it's a really clever double entendre. Noise a tiger makes, also the raw emotion that you feel after a game. So what we encourage people to do, jump on Instagram, send us a voice note straight after the game, if possible, when you're at your R-O-A-R-ist.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people have done this week. So got some great submissions here. Look, there's a lot here. We can't get to all of them, obviously, but we've got some good ones here. We're going to kick off with Harry Winslow, who is pretty happy with...
Harry Winslow. Yeah.
Winslow or draw, am I right? Anyway, he was pretty happy with the performance of one of our a player that we've glazed a little bit this episode, but here's his thoughts.
It's
Short and sharp. We can't argue with that. Concord Idol was last week.
But maybe you could do the Toa, the original, the OG Tigers chant.
Yep. Just on Toa, actually, friend of the show, Angus Sampson, did send us in his initial correspondence, and we've kind of haven't really discussed it. The bloke who...
Craig McLaughlin.
Who famously went on the Footy Show to do stand-up comedy and it went terribly.
He said, "What's worse than poo?"
Yeah.
And someone yelled out, "You!"
Yeah, he's like,
and
"Oh,
the crowd
come on, mate, come on. Let me finish." And they booed him off stage. But before that, he was doing that weird kind of like chanting.
Mona.
Yeah. But Angus said, replace that with Toa.
Yes.
So don't hate it.
Because he had a song called Mona.
Yep.
Which Angus sent us the YouTube clip of. Now, probably a little bit before our time, I think, this song by Craig McLaughlin, because he was on Neighbours or Home and Away or something like that. It has legs. I think maybe we should have a look at how the song goes by Craig McLaughlin and insert Toa. Or, Angus,
if he wants to submit it.
If you want to submit a voice note.
Idol was last week, but we're happy to make an exception.
We do have another Moses M week coming up.
Yep. Bye for those playing at home. We discussed that in the orange room and made each other laugh, so I thought we'd roll it out again on the show.
Moses M week.
Yeah. You'll be hearing that a little bit over the next couple of weeks because we have got a few Moses M's coming up, so buckle up. On that note.
Good stuff. So Harry Winslow, short, sharp. Sometimes that is the best kind of raw emotion because that's just how you're feeling and you want to get it out snappily.
Yeah. Who do we want to go to now? Do we want to go? Maybe we might go to Tom. Actually, it's not Tom Pooley. It's submitted by Tom Pooley on behalf of one of our.
Okay. I think I know where this is headed.
Yeah, one of our favourite correspondents
from the Southern Hemisphere as well, but from a different country.
Also from the Southern Hemisphere. Here we go.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, boys, a very delighted Danny Archer checking in this week after a mighty comeback from the West Tigers. I'm checking in from a remote location in Zambezi. And I got to say the highlight for me got to be Heath Mason. I mean, he reminded me of a young Faf de Klerk back in the day in the 2019 World Cup when he came into the squad and took the world by storm. His footwork is dynamic. His ball playing was sensational. And sometimes you got to let the ball sing to discover your best football. I noticed that Benji said that he wanted to see some lessons from the positive football and the front foot football that we played there in the second half, especially off the kickoff. I love moves of kickoffs. I think we should see them more in the game, much like you see them in the 15-a-side game. But it's just good to have a player there in the halves who's got a bit of speed, a bit of dynamic agility about them, rather than a baby giraffe who's just found their feet on one side of Savannah looking for their parent, because that's what you had in Lockie Galvin. And now you get the dynamic player with Heath Mason there, and hopefully Lato Faino when he comes in next week, boys. So I'm not sure what the scenario is going to be there, but I think it's very good to go ahead and get that. I'm not sure where the accent went there, but I think it left me a bit when it was a bit of an Italian accent. But that's neither here nor there. Plenty of Italian fan base in the west of Sydney for the mighty West Tigers. Onwards and upwards. Let's go, boys.
Molto bene.
Well, sì. Grazie for that, Tom Pooley.
Thanks for submitting it on behalf of our South African correspondent.
Yes, Denny Ocho. It's a bit more Tony Grigg than Denny Ocho, I feel like.
Yeah.
Denny Ocho's a bit more nasally. Very good at accents, though.
Very good.
If he's got
so good, you get two in the one voice note. Which
is that's amazing.
Two
different continents.
Yeah.
Have you got any more in the arsenal?
Yep.
Please whip them out, Pooley. Or any more mates, from different countries that want to send voice notes in.
Just fire them in via Tom Pooley. He'll forward them on to us.
Tom, if you reach out to those guys, get them to submit to you, send them through to us.
Yep.
Because, really like that. A lot of good references there.
A lot of good stuff.
South African references too.
100%.
So I think you might
Shout
have
out to our South African listener as well. You'll love that. All right. Now an old favourite coming here. I'm not even going to say who it is, but I'm just going to play and let them do the speaking for themselves.
There's a few old favourites.
Hello, Hammy. Hello, Elliot.
Uh-oh.
Thomas Backfence Brown here, first of his name. I think you may have noticed that I didn't send in raw emotion last week. That's ROAR.
We noticed.
For the Concord Idol, considering that when it comes to songwriting, I'm the best. Clearly very talented. Grammy nominated even.
True.
Hammy nominated.
And that was on purpose, boys, because I needed to run a little test. I wanted to see if you guys would notice if one wasn't sent in. And guess what? You did notice. You mentioned it a few times even. And I was starting to think,
got your own tackle.
What does a person have to do to show their immortality? I can say right now, boys, treat them mean, keep them keen. Clearly, Concord Idol was missing a little bit of Backfence Brown. I think the immortal status needs to be reviewed.
Ooh.
I've been getting some messages from some people, some win, learn, or draw fans, and just like West Tigers fans, they're loyal. And I think that possibly we might need to put a petition in.
Oh.
Pole.
Who's in your court, please? Up the say barge, chugga, chugga, chugga. 2840 West Tigers select die. Let's bloody go. And like the Tigers in that second half, I come back.
Backfence Brown. Well, look, we did miss you.
Massively. It was so good to hear his voice again.
It's good to have you back as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good to have you back, fans.
Good to have you back, fans. Look, you're making a very good case. I got to be honest, for immortality. Well, the one point I will make is Joey Johns just continuously asked to become an immortal before being given it, but you are making a compelling case.
Yeah.
You're very close.
I feel like we can discuss it in the orange room.
Yep.
Go away.
Yep.
Maybe send a few WhatsApps to each other.
Yep.
I don't see a world where he doesn't become an immortal by the end of the season. You know what I mean?
It's definitely heading in that direction.
The thing with immortality as well is you do need to space out the giving of that title.
Yep.
Reece Smith took the first one. There's no taking that away from him.
Yep.
Whoever the second one is will be named, I would say, very soon.
Yep. Maybe the next Moses M round might be the unveiling of the next one.
Moses M round, there might be an immortal induction.
Yep.
And hell, we might even get the immortal inductee on the phone.
Well,
FaceTime during the episode or something.
I like it.
Just hang in there.
Yeah, very
good.
close. I would say making some, demanding selection.
So good to have you back, Fence.
You're certainly on our radar, the selectors' radar.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, not one by any means, but geez, you're charging ahead.
Yep, and good. Just can't stress enough. Great to have you back.
Great to have you back.
Miss you
and
last
then you got your own tackle last week as well. That's no other listener, student of the game.
Yep.
Has ever had their own tackle dedicated to them.
That's true. That's a badge of honour.
You're, like I said, in the roar of fame.
The roar of fame. ROAR, that's spelled. All right, let's hear from another favourite of this segment. Over to the first immortal.
Hey, boys. First immortal here. You may be thinking, why is the first immortal puffing at 8:53 at night on the Saturday? Well, it's because he's walking home from the pub. He's walking over the pub. He said to himself, well, if the Tigers get to get butt-fucked by 13 on 12 because the referee has 3 legs, 2 eyes, 1 brain cell in his fucking head to send doo-doo, hee off fresh out of blues camp? You think he's send Dewey there fresh out of blues camp for 10? Take the piss. Take your legs. And Rome, what, because he fought? No, you don't do that shit. This might be a long one because I'm walking. Anyway, I don't count the first half as football. I count the first half as, hey, let's play an uneven game because the Cowboys need it. Half 2, the Tigers had a full erection. Massive erection. Anyway, I count that as a win. I don't see any lessons learnt. I don't see anything wrong. I see first half robbery. And I see a second half victory. So, other Tigers, come soon, robbery forever. Love you, boys. I'm so pissed. It's ridiculous.
One hell of a walk there from the first immortal. May have to beep some of that, but
I think I'd like if you beeped.
No,
but he did have a few West Tigers bitters under the belt.
No, he did. He admitted that, and he kind of explains that here. He's got a little follow up.
Hey boys, real quick. So I set myself a challenge here. I don't know if this one will get paid in the pod, but I don't know if it should. I set myself a challenge here at halftime. We were down 20-something, so I had 20-something beers in the second half. I think that's the key to the formula. Tigers Penrith next week at Combank, the 19th wonder of the world. I'm going to come down from Newcastle and I'm going to drink 20-something beers. And they're putting 20-something on the Penrith Panthers.
I love that.
So watch this space this week. It's
tell you what, that is the epitome of learning a lesson.
Yeah.
Being like, oh my God, I haven't had enough beer to get the Tigers over the line.
Yeah.
Coincidence? No.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever watched Sonny and Philly, Hammy, but
Yeah.
Charlie gets his foot caught in a bear trap.
Yep.
And whenever his foot's in the bear trap, Philadelphia Eagles play really well.
Yep.
And he makes that sacrifice. So if you could have 50 beers, not that we're condoning
responsibly
over consumption of alcohol, but if you could and get us 50 points and wipe the Panthers out from possibly winning the comp,
Yeah.
that'd be super handy.
Yeah.
But take it easy too.
Take it easy. Batten down the hatches if you are heading to it's the 10th one of the world, actually, one of our 5 home grounds this season.
Another bank as well.
Yeah.
We don't perform well at banks.
No.
Combank,
Queensland Country Bank.
Queensland Country Bank.
Yeah. And always good to play another team who also shares it as a home ground at that ground when it's our home game.
Well,
always love doing that.
It's quite funny that we're sharing it with someone else whose home ground it isn't, whose home ground it is.
Yeah.
It's like this purpose-built stadium in the middle of Parramatta and Western Penrith are playing there.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yep. And, our home game, which we love. All right, we've got one more to get through here from from Jaden Taylor. This one comes in from.
Nice. Good contributor, Jado.
Yeah, good contributor. Had a little bit of a family feud on his hands on the weekend.
G'day, professors. This is going to be a ROAR emotion. Don't know if you can hear that in the background. That's my missus. She's a Cowboys supporter.
Someone called Grant Denyer. Family feud.
Yeah, well, we're coming down to Leichhardt Oval this year when we play the Cowboys again. But look, standouts tonight for me, like Heath Mason. Wow. Bloody looked good in number 6. Little white man, Buller. Appy had a few mistakes, looked good. Tyrell. I reckon we should have brought Royce Hunt on a bit more, but it doesn't help that the reffing absolutely sucked against us once again. But look, it's a lesson. But when we take them to Leichhardt, the 9th wonder of the world, we are going to dominate because I'll be there.
Look forward to
Huge.
seeing him there.
So he's Townsville based coming down?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, which we love.
He's got a cowgirl girlfriend, so
that
makes sense. I don't know where else there's Cowboy supporters apart from Townsville.
Yeah, it's a good point. He did follow up with a little bit more info. He got a little song as well.
I've woken up the next morning, realised I think I said the 9th wonder of the world when it was actually the 8th wonder of the world. So that's kind of embarrassing.
Oh, I thought I had a note that he had a song about Ashley Klein. Oh, that was another submission. We'll save for another day. But a good correction there.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't get away with mislabeling Leichhardt Oval.
Yep.
Or Leichhardt University of Leichhardt, as we call it, UL. Good stuff, Jaden. Would love to see you at the game, and thanks for the correction with an extremely hungover voice.
Yep.
Thought it might be a good opportunity to just give some honourable mentions to those that aren't getting a play, but they've made the short list. So Roar of Famer Troy Maguire, Floyd Dickens, George Mansour,
We've had him
relation.
before.
Alex Donnelly, Toby King and Teddy Brooks.
No relation.
All students of the game
They are.
and top contributors. If we had a top contributor badge, they'd all be wearing it.
We've received your homework, students of the game, so thanks for getting them in. Can't get to them all.
Thank you for putting it in each and every week, your homework as well.
Yeah.
We much appreciate it.
I might look. Troy Maguire, he's always a great contributor. Did take quite a long one. I know we've got to get out of here in a second, but maybe we'll try to just find his Ashley Klein song.
Yeah, go for it.
Good.
I mean, I would never say no to good content.
All right.
Now, Ashley Klein, he wasn't even our ref though, was he?
I think he was in the bunker.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. We'll play it from about here.
Something better. So, Hammy, how about this one? Ashley Klein hates the Tigers, doo-dah, doo-dah. Ashley Klein hates the Tigers, oh, doo-dah-day. Oh, doo-dah-day, oh, doo-dah-day. Ashley Klein hates the Tigers, oh, doo-dah-day. Klein, you are corrupt!
There's some thoughts on Ashley Klein there. I think he was in the, because he wasn't the ref. It's a good point you make.
Yep.
Might have been in the bunker.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Troy. Your songs are basically what inspired Concord Idol, so thank you.
Well, it is. Yeah, the OG Taruva chant.
Yep.
So thank you for your service.
Yes.
And thanks for that contribution. But yeah, thank you for your raw emotion. It is, of course, spelled ROAR. Always great to hear from you. And make sure you keep them coming this week after our big game against the Panthers.
Yes, please do. I'm sure there'll be plenty of raw emotion after that one. Now, there's no better time than the present for us to take a little break.
Yeah, great point.
All right. Then do you know why I do that? It just makes it easier when we're looking at the audio and we can see a gap.
Yep.
Go click, bang, put the ads in there. So
Please.
apologies to our...
If you had over 1.5 peaks behind the curtain today, congratulations. You've just been paid out.
Nothing will beat the white font on the white background. Let's look at the game this weekend. Now, Benji Marshall's birthday long weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually born on the 25th of Feb. But
Yep. King's birthday, they move it around.
You get it? You see what
Better
I'm
to
saying
have
here?
a public holiday in the middle of the year than we've already got a couple in sort of
Exactly.
near
So,
February.
long weekend. We got a Sunday Arvo game.
Yep. At the 10th.
4 p.m. slot at the 10th. This is the kind of areas we like.
Yep.
Like 4 p.m. Sunday. Pretty rank outsiders, I would say. Penrith getting into a bit of form. Obviously outplayed Parramatta on the weekend. We have acknowledged that they have that corridor of confusion, that avenue of apprehension, to steal the bowlologists' terms when it comes to cricket. But throughout that centre kind of, inside the wingers and around the back row area, they're vulnerable. And that's where our power players are.
Yep.
At the moment. Do you know what I mean?
The star.
Star.
Yep. Adam Dewey, fresh out of Blues camp, as Reece Smith hammered home.
Do he.
He.
Yeah, I feel like if Latu Fainu comes back and we have a directional 7 in this team,
Yep.
we are going to really, really hurt opposition.
Yeah.
It's what we're lacking at the moment. We've got too many 6s. Like Heath Mason and Luai play very eyes up,
Yep.
bounce around footy, poke their head through, do this, do that. We just don't have that directional 7. And I feel like Fainu will provide that.
Is he on the cards for a comeback this week?
I thought round 14 was his
good.
return.
Hope so.
And then Skelton as well. So
Available this week.
I believe they were both scheduled
Nice.
to come back round
Okay.
14.
Good.
So 2 big inclusions. I think the big, the unlucky players there are Staines and Heath Mason. I think Heath Mason might go to 14.
Yep.
I don't
I'd
know.
be fully supportive of that. I think he's
Impact back row.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't loved how I've been using the number 14 in recent weeks, but I think there's a role for Heath Mason there for sure. We are outsiders, $3.37, Panthers $1.32. But look, they haven't been going that well. And yes, they won on the weekend, but they only kind of just got over the Eels. If we play anything like we did play in the first half, though, we're done. I think they will actually, even though they're battling, they'll hammer us.
Yep.
But if we can replicate a bit more of that second half footy, I think we could be a real handful for them.
They're not as clinical as they were, right? And I feel like they are, like I said, vulnerable. And if we can play that same type of footy, I really hope we don't try and play it every set because sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. As you said, one time when we did that bit of ad-lib footy right before halftime and it cost us 4 points.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a guy at work said this today. He told me I could reference it. It's a 4-point game because we're going into the bye.
Yep.
And they're
Moses
sitting Moses M, sorry, and they're sitting one position behind us.
Yep.
So they're in 14th, we're in 13th, top 16, might I add. It's a big game, but I do think $3.37. We're thereabouts.
A win here goes a long way to locking up a top 16 position, which hasn't been looking as certain in the last couple of weeks, to be honest. So that'll be good if we could do that. One guy who will be so fired up, and I can't wait to see how he rolls out his. Reece Smith will be very fired up, but Jerome Luai against his old club.
So this is something I want to introduce this week as well, Hammy, and I want to hold us a bit accountable.
Yep.
The win, learn, or draw crystal ball.
Yep.
So these are the things that you won't see the bookies add into their overs, unders, or anything like that.
We'll see about that.
Do you know anyone? These are the things that I want to introduce that we have a little punt on each and every week that might help. Now, I probably should have prepped you for this, so you could have come up with one.
Yep.
But I thought, for instance, my one this week is I think Jerome Luai will take 6 Dally M points away from this game.
Wow.
I think Jerome Luai will take 6 Dally M points away from this game. And every Dally M point he's off,
Please, do go on.
I will have a West Tigers bidder.
Okay, nice.
Is that fair?
Yeah, happy with that.
That's my challenge to myself.
Yep.
Any crystal ball assumptions or predictions for you?
Heath Mason from the number 14 jersey to deliver the hammer blow. Come on and wrap it up for us.
Okay.
I think a well used Heath Mason.
So we can that can be a try assist or a try. He will win the game.
Heath
for
Mason to come off the bench and deliver the winning play against the Panthers.
And how many West Tigers bids does he have?
We've got to work straight after, so I've got to leave at half time and get to work. So after that, I'll have a couple.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, there you go. Next week we'll actually prepare for that one. And
I think it'll go better when I've had a bit of time to think about it. But I like where the head's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to challenge ourselves and how much we know about the game.
Completely agree. Which is not much, by the way. For the
no, definitely not. We are absolutely unqualified, as the Hello Sport boys say, but probably more so than they are.
Yep.
That was episode 14 of the Win, Learn or Draw podcast. Galvin's officially a dog.
Yep.
As it will
Here's
be
to the
named.
next 14.
Heath Mason, 14. Sitting in 13th. So that means, and if my calculator serves me right, top 16.
Here we come. We'll wrap it up there and you can go home and wash that moo-moo.
I've already washed it.
Give it another wash. See if you can shrink it a couple of sizes.
Put it in the dryer.